Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today we're taking a look at the new December batch of Global 7 Stars. Yes, 7 Stars are getting some awakenings. As a matter of fact, right now you can go do it. Isn't that exciting? Well, yes and no. Let's be really honest. Taking a look at this 7-star batch, there is some really good stuff in here, and there is some stuff that I think is pretty passable. So I'm going to talk about each of the 7-star awakenings that you guys are getting, which ones were good on the JP side. Now, of course, remember, before you type those comments, this is just the JP impressions. This is not necessarily reflective of how good or bad they will be on the global side, because global does have actually quite a little bit of different stuff right now. So it's, it's a little hard to say whether or not they're going to be super good or what, but I feel pretty confident making some predictions about these guys as always. So if you're wondering who's included in this batch, we have Duke, we have Bosch, Lulu, Yuna, Aranea, Prompto, Kunshira, and Lotus Mage Fina, or CG Fina as I usually refer to her, and that's the way I'm going to. So let's start with the first one on the list, and that is Duke. Now, anyone who watches my channel or anyone who knows anything about my channel or me knows that I'm a big fan of Dragoons, and I absolutely love Dragoons. Duke has zero future. I'm not going to pull any punches on this one. Duke is one of my favorite units in terms of design, and honestly, there is a lot I like about his kit. Particularly his 7-star Super TMR is just one of the coolest looking weapons in the whole entire game. Duke's Spear does have some Dragon Killer on it, which is important into the future with trials like Shinryu. And dragons, when it comes to top tier content, dragons are usually there. So yeah, I foresee us getting more dragon trials in the future. So this is a good spear to have, especially because true dual wield will eventually come into its own, even on the global side. So this is a great Super TMR, so don't be too sad about Duke. Now, as for the only changes in his kit, it looks like Ancestral Pledge just gives him extra jump damage. That really wasn't the problem he had to begin with. Until CG Sig comes, there isn't really a ton of support for Dragoons yet. And after CG Sid comes, Dragoons have all the support they need. Seriously, CG Sid is the answer, not Duke. So unfortunately, it doesn't look too interesting for his future. Now, next up is Bosch. And Bosch is, well, he's a pretty great little 7-star. For physical and magical coverage, he has both. He has breaks. And in his 7-star kit, he's just generally better. There's nothing really to complain about when it comes to Bosch. He was a pretty damn solid unit, and it looks like he does get a couple of increases. Bell of a New Dawn gives a self boost, and it's been increased by 50%, which is actually really, really solid. Chasing Spirit defense and Spirit boost increased by 40% to a total of 120%. So yeah, Bosch ended up making it out of enhancements really quite well. As a matter of fact, I don't think he needed this, but tanks are a little more competitive on the global side. What with Lilith, to just name one off the top of my head. Now, of course, Bosch is a split defense magical tank, but there are plenty of people who swear about him on the JP side. And for a while, I was swearing about him too, because I didn't have his 7-star, but there you go. Now, next up on our list is Lulu, and I think I'm going to have to go for at least, yes, here she is. Oh, Lulu. Lulu is a sad story of, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking on this one. Her Super TMR booster Cactuar is unstackable. There's nothing really surprising there. Pretty much everything's unstackable on the global side. Flare Fury, sorry, is available on turn 1 now, but has had its modifier decreased by 5 times. This is really probably the oddest, strangest thing, because at no point on the JP side has Lulu been able to be described as meta, and right now she's very described as benched, just benched. So the fact that they took away one of her more interesting abilities and decreased it just so you can use it on turn 1, this makes no sense. This isn't a buff, this is pretty much a nerf, and there's nothing really to like about it. And I'm sorry, Lulu, wow, somebody on the global side really hates you. Just seriously, I really don't have a good explanation for why that was done. Next up is Yuna. Now, Yuna is just a solid little healer. She has a really nice super Oh, I guess I haven't talked about it. I mean, Bosch is perfectly fine and has a good super TMR. Lulu's super TMR is okay. I wouldn't say no to it. I wouldn't say no to any super TMR. But then again, the JP side is in that state right now. Yuna has a great super TMR, extra summon damage, high spirit robe. Nothing, like I said, nothing to complain about. She's a great little... I mean, if you liked her as a 6-star, she's just better as a 7-star. She has extra, you know, just essentially does everything a little bit better. No real changes to her. She does fall pretty hard in the healer category, especially later when some other healers start coming out. Aerith and, I would say even more so, probably Warrior of Light Lena, just completely buries her in terms of healing. Of course, she does have the summon abilities, but yeah, she's perfectly fine if you like summoners and healers. But she's nothing that special, and she didn't get buffed, so moving on. Next up, Aranea. Now, Aranea is... I'm going to be honest here. I mean, again, it's a Dragoon. I love Dragoons a lot. Dragoons are one of the coolest classes. I can't find where my Aranea is in my list. Oh, there she is. She's only a level 119. Huh. Didn't quite get there. Aranea has, you know, some decent enough stuff. Super TMR is pretty good. TMR is unbelievably important for Into the Future. This TMR is probably, if you ever want to use a Dragoon, this TMR is just really, really good to get your hands on and enhance. As for her kit, you know, she gets the standard Dragoon treatment of time jumps and whatnot, and just a whole bunch of stuff that just, again, will be totally outclassed by CG Sid, so it's not really much to talk about. Also, the only thing that seems to be of note here is that her Super TMR is unstackable. How unremarkable. And other unthings. Next up is Prompto. Now, Prompto does have a place on the JP side. You know, with things like Yuna, Aranea, Lulu, it's pretty easily that they have fallen out of where we are on the JP side quite hard. Prompto does still have a place in Arena. He is pretty good in Arena, and with the extra stats and everything that he gets as a 7-star, unbelievably strong. Just unbelievably strong there. Of course, if you're like me and you just beat everyone to death in Arena, then it doesn't really matter. But it should be noted that Prompto has an amazing Super TMR. A gun with 161 attack, 66 spirit, and not only that, it gives dual wield. This is a great Super TMR. If nothing else, this is to be considered. As for Prompto outside of Arena, yeah, he's okay, but again, he'll fall if you're looking to use him for damage. There's just much better options out there. Yeah. Next up, Kunshira, who, where is, I know I have 7-star Kunshira. I was very excited when I finally got my second Kunshira. There she is. Kunshira, here we go. Here is a unit that is actually really, really powerful. Why? Well, she has one particular ability that is absolutely awesome for anybody who is a fan of AR chaining. Well, Kunshira joins that, and it is a beautiful thing. It is Thunder and Wind, so it can chain either with Lunera, especially because Lunera on the global side has double casting of her AR chaining, which is super cool. And it also is lightning too. That means that it can chain with Lauren. See, I didn't say Lorraine, even though it totally is Lorraine. Anyway, other than that, really great elemental coverage. Just a really great little 7-star kit. Conchira is kind of, I think, undervalued and isn't talked about a lot. And is a dual-wield hybrid unit. I love Conchira, and she has great artwork that I got to see at FanFesta. So, big thumbs up. Spellblade Secrets modifier boost increased 0.5. So, you know, a little bit better. Nothing super game-breaking, but Conchira was a powerful chainer before, and she will still be a powerful chainer now, and she at least has a fairly decent future ahead of her. Of course, well, I mean, with I think there's some better hybrid support on the global side too, so maybe even a little bit better than I'm thinking. Conchira, don't underestimate her. Also, just to talk about something else, her Super TMR, absolutely incredible. Elemental resistance. You global people don't understand yet, but you will. Anyway, 50 attack stat for both of these. If you are a big fan of hybrids, then this is just a great Super TMR. Yeah, Conchira, full package. Love it. And last but not least is Lotus Mage Fina. I don't think there's really much to talk about here. Her Super TMR, Pure Lotus, autocast buff increased by about 20%, or by 20%. I don't know why I say it by about. It goes up to 100%. Now, her Super TMR was considered to be unremarkable back at the time when it came out. As a matter of fact, it even made some people really incredibly pissed off that this was the Super TMR. On the JP side, it's only 80%, plus, you know, auto regen and auto MP regen. Sorry, auto regen for HP and MP. But, and yeah, it's refresh. But anyway, moving on. This becomes more important into the future when enemies are pretty dispel happy. This is still a Super TMR that is very undervalued on the JP side. Many people do not see the value in it. And as more enemies start becoming just dispel happy, having just 100% buff, especially if you've already hit your stat cap of whatever your unit you are using, is interested in having a consistent 100% stat as well as a really good refresh and regen is great. And the fact that it's even better on the global side just means that it's even better. As for Fina herself, there really isn't much to talk about here. CG Fina was always a great healer, and she becomes even better in her 7-star, just being totally focused on auto refresh, which is wonderful. Into the future, she also gets some nice enhancements too. She is still useful on the JP side. If you have not gotten Aerith or, you know, Ayaka or Santa Rosalia, you can do quite well with this girl. I still like Lotus Mage Fina, although, to be fair, she is better on a Chocobo. Flaunt it. Anyway, so who are my big winners and who are my big losers for this batch? Well, winners are pretty easy to pick this time. Bosch is definitely one of them. He is just a strong tank as a 7-star with a lot of utility, and that's all you really need from a tank. And he can cover both physical and magical, and that is important. So yes, Bosch definitely gets a big thumbs up. Lotus Mage Fina is my second, or probably, I don't have a first, second, or third place this time because they're such different roles that I don't think it really matters. Lotus Mage Fina is also tippity top. I mean, just the improvement to her Super TMR, which is better than most people think. They just don't know it yet because Dispel Happy trials haven't shown up. Yeah, I mean, she has a great kit before. Auto Revive is an incredibly useful thing, so there's nothing really much to talk about here. Lotus Mage Fina is just awesome. And my last one, my top 3 includes Conchira. Conchira has really nice elemental coverage. She has just AR chaining, which has a lot more practicality on the global side with the extra support for hybrids, as well as the extra support for just AR chaining with Lunera. She's a great partner if you haven't done a lot of the 10-man trials. This type of chaining should eat through quite a few of them. Yeah, a strong chaining partner for either Lorraine, or Lunera is just highly valuable here. So yeah, Kenshiro gets a big thumbs up as well. As for my bottom three, there's only one. I'm not even joking about this one. Out of this entire batch, there's only one thing that is staggeringly, jaw-droppingly confusing, and that's Lulu. I have no idea what the hell they were thinking. Maybe there's something coming in the future for Global, a global exclusive unit that combined with Lulu, who was on the JP's, her JP version would just destroy the entire game? But highly doubtful. More than anything, this just feels incredibly odd. No, Duke is Duke. I assume that someday he might be good against some Dragon Trial. Prompto is good in Arena. Aranea is fine. Leave her alone. But Lulu is the most baffling one of essentially just kind of nerfing her. This is probably the strangest thing I've seen in these batch of enhancements, but we have one more batch coming up. Sephiroth and I think Cloud hasn't got their 7 stars yet on the global side, which means that, and I believe at FanFest it was announced they would be coming with the Tifa and Vincent event, which... yeah, cool. As for the remaining ones, there's still Atoning Dragoon Rain, Kain, not Rain, Emperor Shara, Heavenly Technician Lid, Jiraiya, Lila, Maritime Strategist Nicole, Medina, as well as Nameless Gunner Jake, Pure Summoner Rydia, and Reagan. Now, in that batch, there is definitely going to be a... there's going to be some really great stuff coming in that batch. I mean, Lid and Reagan are there, and that's exciting enough. But to look at this entire process that has been going on the global side, it was August, right? When they started the 7-star batches. So this has been an incredibly long, slow, and painful process that has kind of devalued a lot more units. Well, I did think that the JP side may have overdone it a little bit with just throwing, within 3 months, all the 7 stars at people and people trying to keep up for a lot of the cases. This has been an incredibly slow process waiting for all the 7 stars to show up, and most of the changes have not been incredibly monumental to... actually, I would describe a lot of them as incredibly disappointing. So yes, this global batch, there is some really good stuff there. There just isn't really a lot of changes that are... there is just... what the fuck were they thinking with Lulu? You know what? You know what? A moment of silence for Lulu. What the fuck were they thinking? See you next time.